Yo, what is up guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got another review on the FUT Birthday Gervinho. We're going to go through the card, its details, stats, clips and summary, as well as the SBC requirements. Before we get into all of that, if I could ask you guys to please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when I upload, and comment down below what your thoughts are on this card. And without further ado, let's get into the review. So guys, this is the team that I used Gervinho in. I played him in that left mid spot in the 4-2-3-1, and I played him up front as well in this 4-2-3-1 position. And overall, my first impressions of this card, guys, is this card is a massive L. It's mainly to do with the SBC cost, guys, but I really just didn't enjoy using him either. But without further ado, let's just get into the review. Gervinho, 5'10", high-low work rates, right-footed, 5-star swim moves, and 3-star week for 4 games played, 7 goals scored, and 2 assists. So in terms of return, guys, he actually did not bad for me. But guys, there's a glaring error with this card. The 5-star swim moves is fine, but the 3-star weak foot is a real letdown, and I feel like he struggles a lot, especially with the finishing on the left foot cutting in from the left-hand side. So that was a real problem for me. The high-low work rates are okay, especially for going forward, and if you are going to play him as striker, that is quite a benefit as well. In terms of chemistry style, guys, I tried the Maestro on him. I think you could use the Marksman on this card as well. We will look at chemistry styles more in the final summary, but I stuck with the Maestro, and overall, guys, I found this to be okay on him. I didn't feel like it was great on him, though. Getting into the key stats of the card, guys. The key pros of the card, first of all, are, of course, his speed is fantastic. Sprint speed absolutely phenomenal as well, and in terms of his attack positioning as well, when he gets into the box in the right moments to move into the box, really good, and his agility is very good as well, guys. So all of that is really fantastic about the card. In terms of the cons, guys, and there are a lot. The shot power is really low, 84. Long shots only 80, really poor as well. And then what's really a surprise about this card, and maybe not so much given how Gervinho was in real life, but the surprise of this card is his dribbling is really poor. His reactions only 85 is really poor. His ball control 87 feels a lot worse than that, actually, guys. His ball control is really poor. But the worst thing about this card, guys, and it is by far the most annoying part of this card, is that strength and aggression. He only has 62 strength and only 60 aggression, and what that means is that even when he's going up against the really weak fullbacks, he's just getting bullied off the ball, guys, and it was really frustrating using this card because he wouldn't keep the ball tight to him with that poor ball control, and then combine that with the strength and the aggression levels that he has, he was just getting bullied all around the pitch, and it was really frustrating to use this card. Getting into player traits, guys, he has the speed dribbler trait. That is the only trait to speak of about this card. So now, having covered that, we're going to get into what the SBC requirements are for you guys to get your hands on him. So guys, getting into the Gervinho SBC requirements, only one SBC for this card, 168k on the PlayStation, 160 on the Xbox, and 205 on the PC. Now the one squad is an 85 rated squad with an informed player, and one player from the city on 50 chem, 11 players of course in the squad. Now guys, for me, this is incredibly expensive for what you're getting for this card. When you think about what Ozil offers you in terms of value for SBC to cost 144k for that, 168k on one squad for this. They would have been better putting this at an 84 rated squad with one inform. At least then it would have been a much lower mark, maybe around the 100 to 110k mark. This is far too high for what this card offers. But having covered that, we're going to get into some of the clips that I got with him. So guys, getting into some of Gervinho's clips, and what you guys are going to see is his ability, 1, to play off the left, and 2, playing up front. Now guys, the first thing I want to get into, we'll get into the pros first because there's a lot more cons than there are pros. The first thing I want to get into is his pace. Now guys, he is very fast, and what that allows you to do is to burst away from defenders, especially with that agility as well. You're able to burst away from defenders and move very well in straight lines, or even just on the turn as well, simple turns. You can move really quickly away from defenders, and that allows you to create a lot of space and opportunities for yourself when creating chances. So his pace, guys, is a real pro for me in terms of how this card plays. In terms of his positioning as well, his attack positioning is pretty good as well. He finds himself in the right spot quite often, which allows you, again, to either create other opportunities or to score them as well. Now guys, we're going to get into what the cons are, and guys, the cons are quite large on this card. The first thing I want to get into, guys, is his general dribbling outside of agility, which is one of the bigger ones as well. He has quite low ball control and reaction, guys, and what that means is that he's very slow on the ball for starters, so you have to fix that with a chemistry style. But then the other thing as well to do with his ball control is that his touch feels very loose, and what that means is that when you're taking on fullbacks or centre backs, you can't keep the ball tight and use that pace. His touch tends to be a little looser, which means defenders can get back at him and steal the ball off him, and therefore you lose the momentum of your attack or just lose the ball as well. The next thing I want to get into, guys, and we'll get into another pro actually of this card, is his crossing. His crossing is very good as well, and I feel like that's something that was a bit underrated about this card. Although he does have 3-star week, his crossing was pretty decent, and he did generally put the ball on the money in terms of when he put it in the box. However, guys, I would say that's not enough to counteract what is the biggest con of this card, and what we'll get into right now is that strength and aggression, guys. More often than not, this card was just getting bullied on the attacking sense when he was just running at defenders, trying to create opportunities when he was side by side with them, and even someone like Hector Bellerin was absolutely bullying Gervinho when it came to chasing down the ball or one-on-ones as well, which is where I really struggled with this card, guys, because although I don't need my wingers to be super strong, I need them to have some sort of ability, and because he's so light, lean, and doesn't have strength either, what that means is that he just gets bullied by every player that he comes up against, whether it's a winger, whether it's a fullback, whether it's a centre back, whoever it is. If they go side to side with Gervinho shoulder to shoulder, they are taking the ball off him. Now, guys, the last thing I want to talk about is his weak foot, which is only 3-star. Unfortunately, guys, this did not get the boost. The skill moves got the boost for Gervinho, so what that means is that he's still relatively weak on his left foot. You have to keep things relatively simple for him on that left-handed side. If you do get him onto the right foot, then he's not half bad in terms of taking those easy chances or simple chances. However, guys, there are so many drawbacks to this card that it was really frustrating to play with in general. Just looking over some of his finishes, guys, and you'll see generally they're quite simple to stick away. No more than 15 yards out or 20 yards out. I never really took one further out than that, just because I didn't really have faith in his shooting ability beyond that, which is quite a struggle as well at times to get close enough or to be able to just not take a risky shot when you need to. That was quite annoying. And in this final clip, just more of the same, dribbling between the opponents, relatively okay there, getting the ball back and then finishing it in the far side here. So, guys, getting to this final Gervinho summary again, 170k odds on the PlayStation, 160k on the Xbox, and 205 on the PC. Now, of course, the key stats, guys, acceleration and sprint speed are both good. His attack positioning is pretty decent. His crossing is pretty good. His agility is good as well. So all of those really nice things in this card. However, guys, the cons of this card, the shot power, the long shots, the passing isn't great, it's okay. The balance, the reactions, the ball control, all of them seem to be really affected, and as well, the major thing, the strength and aggression about this card, so poor in terms of all of that. Now, guys, if I was to recommend a chemistry style, I did try the Maestro on him. It doesn't do him any bad problems in terms of that, but guys, what I would say is that this is not the ideal one for him, and when I looked further into it, I think the finisher is a good one, the marksman is a good one for him in terms of the reactions, ball control and dribbling. That really brings that up, brings his physicality up a little bit, so he has a little more strength because he's got such a lean body type, guys. His weight is really low as well, so he just gets bullied about the ball if you don't have a little bit of strength on him, and it does improve his general shooting, long shot, shot power, all of that. So that would be my recommended one, is the marksman there. In terms of similar players, guys, specifically on that left wing, I think this Gerard Deulofeu is quite a similar card in terms of playstyle. I don't think this Gervinho is better in terms of that Deulofeu as well. Stefan El Shaarawy is also on this list. I think El Shaarawy is a level above this card, way higher than what this card is capable of. In terms of linkability, guys, you've got strong links to, of course, the Ivorian players, Ivory Coast players who are in the game, Didier Drogba, Kessie, as well as Parma players. Kuka is in there as well. Weak links, of course, to all the Serie A players, as well as some Ivory Coast players who are in the Premier League too. So some really nice options there for hybrids. Going into the price, guys, you guys can see he's just below the Ansu Fati Player of the Month, just above Alain Saint-Maximin's Inform and Douglas Costa's Halloween card. Guys, if we look a little further up his list, even against all these icons, against this Inform Son, this Gervinho is incredibly overpriced. Now, if we look at just who you can get instead of him, for a little bit more, you can go and get yourself a baby Nedved. You can go and get yourself you can go and get for even less a Halloween Douglas Costa, who is a better player by far. Guys, this SBC is so overdone. I just feel like even if you look further up the list, as you just look further up, it just gets worse and worse. And that just makes it worse because as well, you've got no comparable players in terms of that kind of level. If we look downwards towards further into the list, we see there's the one to watch Leroy Sané, Inform Davies, Antoine Griezmann's there. Mislav Orsic is there as well. I think he's more in this range here, the 80 to 100k mark. I do not think this card is worth 180k, which leads me into my final recommendation, guys, and it's the reason I'm so slow with this review today, and I'm just so frustrated with this card, is that this card is definitely not worth it. And do not do this SBC, guys, unless you really have an affinity for Arsenal, which I do, so that's the reason I've done this one. I wouldn't even be doing this for a Serie A team. I would just wait until a better card comes out. It really isn't worth it, this card at all, unless you really do love Gervinho's card as well, in which case go ahead and do it. But I really just don't think this card is worth it at all. There are far better cards available even now that you can get. Inform Insignias, for example, you can get him as well. Just avoid this card if you can. Hope you guys did enjoy this review. If you did, please do smash that like button. Until next time, I will see you all in a bit.